Hello. This is Patience Rabai from First Class Financials, and today we are continuing to tackle more issues that African women in business are facing, specifically the challenges that we are facing as African women in business. Now, the first challenge that I want to talk about is social expectations. As an African woman, we are being given or being put in this bucket of people who need to be at home cooking, meals for our families and not doing really much to bring the money home or to bring the bag into the market. As African women, we have that stereotype that we've been given, that we also give ourselves to say something is too challenging because I'm black and because I'm a woman. Now today we want to just say it's no longer the case. As African women, we can do anything, absolutely anything and everything we put our mind to and we put our heart to as well. This social expectation that has been put for us back then in Africa is aged. Right now, we need to move with the current times. We also have husbands who are stay-at-home fathers. Did you know that? So that means that as African women, we are there to provide for our families equally. I'm not saying I'm going for equal rights or anything, nope. But what I'm saying is we just need to change that thing of thinking that there's a certain place for us in the society. Challenge number 2, lack of capital. A lot of investors are not really ready to talk to somebody wearing a skirt. Why? Because we already have given them that leverage to say we are not ready to do something. But if we have a proper business plan and we are confident about what we are selling and providing, trust me, we shall be able to get that capital and own banks as African women. Lack of support. That's a very dangerous one. Well, if you can look at this, all the challenges that are here, they're specifically for us as African women because we don't support each other. And it's very difficult for us to get the support that we need from the government. It's so difficult to get the support that we need from banks. It's so difficult for us to get the support that we need from so many social enterprises or organizations that we should be getting empowered through. A lot of the time we've been told that business is better for the men. But as a black African woman getting into business, we need to rise up, group ourselves together, and become that support system that we need for each other, for one another. Lack of proper business networks that will understand who we are as African women in business. There are so little business networks out there for African women who are in business. Why? Because a lot of the time we are learning from our white counterparts. We are learning from the men. But for us as black women, not everybody understands our emotions. Not everybody understands our thought process. Hence, we need to be able to rise up and build those business networks that are relevant for us as African women in business. These business networks, the ones that are currently there, are just there for a certain group, maybe for business startups, because people know that, okay, the first year is going to be challenging for someone in business, but we won't find them qualified enough to move on to the following year or the year after that. Very rarely we will see a woman in business who is taking the initiative and lasting or surviving and pushing, soldiering on to continue that legacy as a woman. We need the right platforms for us as African women, because we will be able to understand each other. We will be able to put our problems together and find solutions for those problems. We also need personal and professional life balance. Yes, the challenge between professional and personal life balance is because it's there because we are not able to put the line between the two. We are not able to see the differences. Quite often we find ourselves mixing, the things between a boardroom and a bedroom meeting. As women, we are not able to channel things right or things straight for us in order for us to understand who we are. Just because we have a home office, we end up now working from the dining room. We end up working from the kitchen because we are under pressure to prepare the meals that we need to be preparing for those coming in for dinner at night. It's important for us to be able to know those boundaries, for us to be able to understand where we are in life and how we can be able to meet that balance. There is church, there is prayer groups, there are so many things, social interactions for our kids, birthday parties, so many things that we want to juggle as African women. But then, including doing our hair, that's one thing that is important as well. But what we fail to understand is we need to know exactly how to balance all these so that our work life is taken away from the professional aspect of it all. Sometimes we find ourselves, when it's the time for us to be resting with our family, we now take on our work into our family time because we don't know when to stop. We don't know where to mark the places to say this is where it ends with my time. Just because you are an entrepreneur, it does not mean that even late at night, just because an email just popped in, you have to respond to it there and then. Be professional. Stop responding to emails by 5 p.m. That way you are able to enjoy your family quality time. That way you are able to have time to rest as well. Lack of confidence is the final challenge that I want to talk about today. Lack of confidence. Many times when we walk into these networking meetings, just because we find ourselves walking into a room full of white people, our confidence shies away. Because we've been taught from a tender age that as African women, we have to be quiet. As African women, we have to be put in a corner somewhere. What we fail to understand is that we are the ones who need to be heard. Whenever I walk into a room, I ensure that my voice is heard. I ensure that people know who Patience Rabai is. I share as much of my contact details with people in that room, relevant people who will bring in the right customers for me in the future. So whenever you are walking into a room, whether you are a shy person or not, leave that shyness at the door. Go in, command your time, command your worth, know who you are, and take your place in society. Let us continue to squash those challenges and come out big and come out right. Continue to like our page, continue to share, continue to love us, for we are continuing to change the narrative as African women in business. Thank you.